From Riches to Rags, written and illustrated by sixth grade students of Grace Episcopal School, Monroe, Louisiana, in Ouachita Parish. Ralph Raccoon was a very successful and rich banker who lived in the city of Raccoon Ridge, Louisiana. Ralph was 35 years old with a wife and 3 children. He was a very handsome raccoon with blue eyes and silver gray fur. He had a big caring heart and was clever enough to trick a fox. Ralph always managed to use his cleverness to his advantage. All of his friends in Raccoon Ridge looked up to him because he was so smart. Raccoon Ridge was a small rural town in North Louisiana with a hospital, bank, school, and a grocery store. The small town was located in a deep, wooded area near a small city named Monroe. Raccoon Ridge was next to a beautiful bayou named Bayou Desired. One dreary, dark October Tuesday in 1929, Ralph walked to the bank to begin his daily routine. When he arrived at work, Mr. Broussard, the president of the bank, was standing at the door and crying uncontrollably. Mr. Broussard told Ralph that every bank in the United States was out of money. Many raccoons had lost all the money they had saved during their lifetime. Ralph returned home and told his wife Renee that he had lost his job and he did not know what to do. They would not have enough money to buy food and they would not be able to pay for their beautiful home. Ralph was unable to sleep that night because he was so worried about how he would take care of his family. The next morning, Ralph told his family that they did not have the money to pay the rent, so they would have to move in with his parents. Ralph's parents owned a home on the outskirts of Raccoon Ridge. That very day, they moved into their grandparents' small log home. Ralph slept better that night, knowing that he had found shelter for his family. Everything was fine until they had eaten all the food in the house. First, to find food, Ralph went to the city of Monroe to collect food from the garbage cans. But the garbage cans were empty, except for some old flour sacks. Ralph took the flour sacks back to Raccoon Ridge so Renee could make clothes for the children. On the way home, he discovered a wild strawberry patch. He picked all the strawberries he could, and later that night, Grandmother Raccoon made a luscious berry pie. Luckily, little Johnny, the youngest child, found a grub patch, and the roasted grubs, along with the pie, made a tasty meal. The next morning, Ralph's children went to the grub patch, and Ralph went to find crawfish near Bayou Desired. Every Saturday, all the raccoon parents and children would meet at the raccoon school. There, they would pay the teachers for teaching the children and pay the doctors for treating the children with the food they were able to find during the week. All the raccoons worked together to gather and trade food. The raccoons in this rural town were much more fortunate than the raccoons that remained in the city. The raccoons in Raccoon Ridge could at least live off the land, whereas the poor raccoons in the city had to resort to stealing food in order to keep their families from starving. This period of time was called the Great Depression, and it lasted 9 long, miserable years. They learned to live together, work together, and share together in order to survive together. Due to the resilience and fortitude of the American people, we were able to overcome the tragedies of the Great Depression. The end.